Good evening. How's it going? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Hillbilly Think Tank with Spencer Keck, and this has been an interesting few days, hasn't it? Well, just so turns out that right around the time we're going to have another Toy Story remake, looks like Bud Lightyear's mentor is going to be recalled to active duty so he can be court-martialed, even though he is right now a senior senator from Arizona. So, is this going to stand? Boy. So, if anyone doesn't know who he is, Mark Kelly was the wife of, not the wife, sorry, Senator Kelly is the husband of former Senator Giffords, who was shot years ago, and he retired from the Navy and from NASA because he is a pilot and an astronaut, been on multiple missions with NASA, as has his twin brother, did the same thing career-wise. But Mark Kelly had the audacity, the temerity to tell U.S. active duty members that they do not have to and should not obey illegal orders. It's basically kind of a reminder. There's stuff going on right now. He and other U.S. leaders in the federal level decided they should make a video reminding active duty folks that they swear an allegiance to the Constitution and not to a king, not to a president, even, as because he was an officer, and officers, their oath is just to the Constitution. So, that being said, a decorated combat veteran, because he flew for the Navy and the first Gulf War, of which I was also part of. And he became, after that, astronaut, achieved the rank of Navy captain. So that's right below admiral. That's a very noble rank to retire as. You're a full bird. But oh boy, Lord forbid that all of your experience in the military should compel you to remind folks that they should not obey illegal orders. Now, Lieutenant Calley in Vietnam is just a glaring example of what happens when someone orders their men to go against Geneva Convention, to go against what is legal and just, and kill civilians, fight against civilians that are unarmed. And that's what Calley did, and his men that carried out the orders with him in Vietnam, they all went down. It really was a blunder in Vietnam that did not help our cause there. So, that being said, this is absolutely unheard of for a sitting senator to be called to active duty again after retirement so that a petulant Secretary of Defense, Hegseth, can send him to court martial. There is nothing illegal about what he did at all. But for the military now to prosecute someone that is part of the civilian government, this is absolute insanity. This is absolutely dangerous times for the military to be taking over a civilian government and trying to punish and possibly jail, because if he's being charged with sedition, we already know what the president said about that. The president claimed that was punishable by death. So this is now where the military is going to go, prosecuting civilian leaders, elected leaders. We've never gone here before. We cannot go here if this democracy is to stand. Now, at the same time that we heard this, we found out the judge for the James Comey indictment and the Letitia James indictment, the judge has dismissed the indictment over unlawful prosecutor appointment. The prosecutor that was appointed to this case did not qualify to be a prosecutor. Enough said. That's 2 legal cases, 3 legal cases. We include Senator Kelly's, that this administration is showing it doesn't care about what is legal and illegal. It's barely restrained. So we'll see what our Senate and Congress do and Supreme Court. Are they going to try to let this fly with Senator Kelly, retired Navy captain who has been off active duty for very, very many years now? But they're going to call him back on active duty to court martialing for saying nothing that was at all illegal. And it's what every single service member is taught during basic training, or during their initial training, during officer training, enlisted training. Well, here we go. Now, all this time, they're wasting money in the government on these games. What could they be doing? Let's see. What do we have here in Hardin County that could really use some help? We've got roads that need to be taken care of. We're expanding roads as we speak, expanding Ring Road. We are making all kinds of new traffic patterns with traffic circles all over this county. That takes money. That money, could be something that our federal government could help us with, because we had a very large infrastructure package agreed upon just a few years back. Remember in 2021, we first started the bipartisan infrastructure bill. And back in March 21st of 2024, $475 million from the bipartisan infrastructure bill was supposed to come to Kentucky out of about 5 states. They're supposed to. So, man, that is money that we should still be petitioning for, even more of it. But nope, back in January 25, Trump froze all of the IIJA, all this infrastructure money that had been already approved by Congress, signed into law by our previous president. But this president decides he can just decide to freeze assets and use them any which way he wants. This can't stand. Our American roads can't stand this. But We'll sit by and watch him play games when people are telling him that what he's doing is not legal. What the Senator Kelly and the others were talking about was the fact that we're right now gearing up for war in Venezuela, talking about other places that we would love to do it, such as Nigeria. Of course, we've mentioned Greenland, Panama. This is supposed to be the guy who wanted to end wars, wants a Nobel Peace Prize for that. And yet, 20% of our fleet, sailors and Marines, are amassed off the coast of Venezuela and the Caribbean islands right near Venezuela. But we're more concerned about certain leaders in Congress warning active duty folks, you don't have to do this. You should not do this. Illegal. Anytime you receive an illegal order, you should defy it. So what illegal orders? Well, as we already said, killing people on little boats with outboard motors without doing search and boarding and seizure exercises, missions. This is illegal. We are murdering people. We are not talking about the Japanese fleet over in Pearl Harbor. We're talking about the American fleet going in and doing what we didn't allow to be done to our fleet, which is just kill people willy-nilly. These are non-combatant vessels we're talking about off the coast of Venezuela. Any of our citizens are having fun on some of their high-speed outboard motorized boats. We would be up in arms if Venezuela just blew them out of the water and then later tried to claim that some of our tourists were drug dealers or whatever they want to make up. No, we go in, easiest mission in the world, go in with a VBSS team, board those little boats, search them, and if there actually is illegal activity being conducted from them, you arrest the crew and send them to trial, and then send them to jail. That's simple. But no, we want to go to war. This president wants to be a war president. He said that in his first term, that war presidents get to do whatever they want. Oh man, this can't stand. Y'all, so remember, we could be spending good money on our roads. We could demand that the infrastructure money that's already been out there and apportioned, that it be unfrozen and that it start flowing back to the states again to get people employed and to get our roads, waterways, and everything else that we need infrastructure-wise, get it up to par with the rest of the world, up to what should be and used to be U.S. standards of excellence and greatness. All right. Have a great evening. Take care of your neighbors as you take care of yourself. Love your neighbors as yourself. Bless your corazon. Have a good evening.